Now on Fast Track News, Purdue University has received national recognition for its safety practices. Who is this recognition from, and what is the importance of it?
Plus, a 114-mile walk to raise money for charity. We spoke with a Purdue student who completed this journey.
Also, a new cafe is recently opened here on Purdue's campus. What you can expect on the menu and more coming up. All your campus news, weather, and sports is straight ahead. Fast Track News is back.
Breaking news. Good things are on the horizon for student workers on campus, according to an email sent by Provost Patrick Wolf. Undergraduate minimum wage will be going up to $9 an hour in 2024 and up to $10 an hour in 2025.
This represents a 38% increase overall from the minimum wage today. Purdue student government proposed the increase in pay, and the Action Council on Student Housing and Well-Being approved the increase after several months of discussion with student leaders. The announcement says the minimum wage will be reevaluated regularly in the future years based on market conditions.
Happy Friday, Boilermakers. I'm Jasmin Studebaker.
And I'm Chris Reichel. It's Friday, March 8th. Here's a look at your campus news for the week.
Just ahead, Purdue is making big plays this weekend across the Big Ten as Purdue basketball enters into March Madness and the Purdue baseball team begins their Big Ten conference play. I'm Jasmin Studebaker. Don't go away. Sports is next. Howdy, howdy, Boilermakers. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram at Purdue Fast Track News, where we post not only funny reels, but also all your campus news, weather, and sports updates. You can find exclusive content like this one highlighting the candidates for Purdue student government. Until next time, Boilers.
Now it's time for our question of the week. What are students' favorite Valentine's Day candy?
February 14th is right around the corner. Jillian Huckleberry and Jace Duane ask students theirs.
Well, my favorite Valentine's Day candy would have to be Juju Fish. It's like a better version of Swedish Fish. You can only really find it on Amazon or at Menards if you're interested. How about you, Jasmine?
My favorite Valentine's Day candy is the Lindor Strawberries and Cream Truffles. You can only get them this time of year. With Valentine's Day next week, let's check back with the meteorologist Alex Kirkov one last time to see what we should expect from the weather. The popular choice for food on campus, Hillenbrand Dining Court, has officially closed with renovations starting today. Hillenbrand Dining Court is currently undergoing a major renovation and expansion project, coordinated with the construction of a new residence hall south of Hillenbrand. This project seeks to improve the campus dining experience by adding 300 more seats to the Hillenbrand Dining Court. Purdue's Senior Director of Media and Public Relations, Tim Doty, encourages students to check out the many other options for food around Hillenbrand, including Earhart Dining Court, Harrison Grill, Windsor Dining Court, and more. Doty also discusses what will happen with Hillenbrand staff, stating, "All full-time and student staff at Hillenbrand Dining Court will be temporarily relocated to other dining courts for the rest of the semester. The project is expected to be finished by fall 2026. Some members of the Purdue community continue to support Palestine and rally for a ceasefire. Students for Justice in Palestine held a vigil for Aaron Bushnell on Saturday at the Purdue Armory. Bushnell was a member of the Air Force who set himself on fire to protest the U.S. Army's supposed support of Israel. The SJP continues to hold rallies in support of Palestine, the latest of which happened Monday night at the West Lafayette City Hall. The SJP and other students gathered outside the City Hall during the meeting to chant for a ceasefire. They moved inside later with other Purdue groups to sit in for the weekly council meeting, according to WLFI. Students can keep up with events and information concerning Palestine on their Instagram at SJP Purdue.
I am so freaking excited for spring break. I'm going to go to Vegas and then visit my grandma. What about you?
I personally will be taking the much-needed opportunity to rot in bed. Speaking of a break, I'm really hoping for a break from this rain. Let's see what Sebastian Lux has to say with a final look at the weather. With March Madness upon us once again, we take a look back on how Purdue got to the big dance. Purdue tipped off its season as the number 3 team in the country. They started off the year strong, scoring a win in the Maui Invitational Tournament and a number 1 ranking in the country. And even with a tough loss to Northwestern, Purdue would climb back up to number 1 after knocking off top-ranked Arizona. As conference play got into full swing, Purdue would rebound after a loss to Nebraska on January 16th by winning their next 9 straight. On March 2nd, Purdue once again made confetti fall from the rafters by clinching their 26th Big Ten title. A win against Illinois 3 days later clinched the title outright. Although the Boilers fell short of back-to-back Big Ten tournament titles, they still go into March Madness as a 1 seed and an impressive 29-4 record. Purdue looks to erase the demons of last season as they play their first round game tonight against Grambling State in Indianapolis. I'm surprised that Purdue's very own Zach Edey has remained dominant this season. A few weeks ago, Edey became the all-time leader for rebounds and has now surpassed legendary Rick Mount as Purdue's scoring champion, securing 2 all-time titles. Last week, during the Big Ten tournament, Purdue faced off against Wisconsin in the semifinals after a win against the Michigan State Spartans. In that game, Edey was able to surpass Mount's previous record of 2,323 points during the second half. The previous record stood for over 50 years since being set in the 1970 season. Here's Fast Track's resident statistics major, Alex Kuban, with a closer look at the current March Madness lineup.
Let's take a deeper look at Purdue's draw in the Midwest region of the tournament's bracket. As Jasmin said earlier, Purdue takes on Grambling State tonight to start the action in the Indianapolis pod. If Purdue wins, stay tuned on TBS to see who wins the matchup between Utah State and TCU. If Purdue were to make the Sweet 16 in Detroit next weekend, their opponent would be one of these 4 teams. This pod would be played this weekend in Salt Lake City. Keep an eye on the upsets here, as Sanford and McNeese State are 2 of the better double-digit seeds in the field. In the 13-4 matchup, Kansas will be without All-American Kevin McCullough. Gonzaga may have their weakest team in a while, but keep in mind that they have not lost a first-round game since they played Steph Curry in 2008. If Purdue were to make a run to the Elite Eight, their opponent would come somewhere from this side of the bracket. 2-seed Tennessee and 3-seed Creighton are certainly favorites to come out of here. Personally, my sleeper from this part of the bracket is 11-seed Oregon. Head coach Dana Altman has a great track record in March, and 3-seed Creighton is very reliant on their shooting. If it happens to be off one night, they could be a target for the upset. Back to you, Jasmin.
Men's basketball aren't the only ones in postseason play, though. For the 32nd time in program history, your Purdue women's basketball team is heading to the postseason. This will be the 5th entry into the Women's National Invitational Tournament and 2nd under head coach Katie Geralds. The Boilers accepted the invitation after their loss in the second round of the Big Ten tournament to Nebraska. Their first appearance in the WNIT was in 1988 and in recent years of 2010, 2018, and 2022. The Boilers have the first round bye and are set to play the winner of Bowling Green and Butler game on March 26th. This weekend, 5 of Purdue's wrestlers will be competing in the NCAA National Wrestling Tournament. The tournament started yesterday at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, Kansas. Purdue's Matt Ramos made a name for himself last year after he pinned number 1 seed Spencer Lee. After suffering 2 losses in the Big Ten tournament, Ramos will be a 4 seed at Nationals. Along with Ramos, Purdue's youth will be highlighted in the tournament with 2 true freshmen, Grayson Clark and Joey Blaze, qualifying in the first year with the Boilers. Sophomore Snowdy Buell and redshirt freshman Brody Bauman round out the 5 Purdue wrestlers at the tournament. The tournament continues on today and will end on Saturday. We wish good luck to Matt, Grayson, Joey, Stoney, and Brody. This past Wednesday, your Boilers fell 1 run short in the longest baseball game ever played in Alexander Field with 14 innings. But no worries, because we are looking ahead to Big Ten Conference play against the Iowa Hawkeyes today in Alexander Field at 4 p.m. It'll be the first of a 3-game series versus the Hawkeyes. This series will also be the end of the Boilers' 13-game homestand, so make sure you make your way out to Alexander Field to support the baseball team. Good luck to all our Boilermakers competing today. That's a wrap for sports, but don't forget to check us out on Instagram at Purdue Fast Track News for live updates of our weekend game coverage. Stay tuned, Fast Track will be right back after this quick timeout. Check out our Instagram at Purdue Fast Track News for all the latest news, weather, and sports updates.
Thanks for watching Fast Track News.
We'll see you back next week. Thanks for tuning in to Fast Track News.
See you Friday after the break with more news, weather, and sports. Have a great weekend and stay safe, Boilermakers.